I didn't really give Zack Snyder a chance. I kind of judged this movie way beforehand, because Batman vs. Superman, I hated. The director's cut's better, but no, that's a bad movie. In my opinion. We're all entitled to our own opinion. Justice League was bad. And so, Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out today, and I'm like, not really wanting to watch it. I didn't think it was going to be good. And I just like to say, I am 100% sorry. What's going on, everybody? I'm Andrew with Everyday Nerds. Today, the Snyder Cut came out. I just finished watching it, and I'm mind blown. That was impressive. If they needed something to fix the DCEU, this was it. This is a good foundation to try and turn things around. Hats off to Zack Snyder. That was great. It was not perfect, but it was a lot better than I think anything DC has put out, really. I don't think anything that they put out, anything Zack Snyder's put out with DC, Man of Steel is great. This might just take the cake though, but I have some problems with it, so let's talk about them. Now, I'm on my phone because I have the notes on my phone. I took them while I watched, and we're just going to go through the good things and the bad things. They're not in order, it's just what I noticed and then my afterthoughts and just kind of what I put in my phone. It starts in order and then it just goes crazy. Heads up. But I thought the opening scene with the scream was silly. The first time I was like, alright, it's going to be the scream heard around the world. But then it kept like sending the sound waves and I thought it looked silly. Because like he was on the ground when he's already dead and is still like yelling. I thought that looked really dumb. That was what I first saw. I was like, oh man, this is going to be bad. And then new scenes were added, and it was immediately better. The opening scene of the original Justice League wasn't even in here, and that's like a terrible scene. I'm glad they got rid of it. But then it goes to Batman, or Bruce Wayne, going to meet Arthur Curry, the Aquaman, and it's basically the same scene, it's a little different. But one thing I noticed was, when he goes back into the sea, people are singing. I thought that was a very interesting concept. I don't really understand the point of it, but it was there, it's whatever. And then I did like that this movie showed a lot more of Superman's mom and Lois Lane than in the other movie. It showed kind of their grieving and moving on after he passed away. I really liked that they included that. But it showed Martha moving out of their like farmhouse, and I think that was just a cool little inclusion. It wasn't necessary, but I think it's good that they put it. Then we see that Lois Lane goes to visit Superman's destroyed statue every day. And I thought that was like, aw, heart, love, you know. And then the Wonder Woman bank scene. We put out a video where we talked about the old Justice League and I absolutely destroyed this scene because I thought her little speed thing was dumb because she never really showed like that kind of speed. In this whole bank scene, she's using her speed the entire time, and it's great. Because my biggest complaint wasn't that she had the speed, it was that she used it once, and then that's all we really see of it. So I'm very, very glad they showed that. It's in Wonder Woman 84, but they actually like show it in this movie, and that made me happy. Now for the first like huge change. Steppenwolf and how he looks. Amazing. The first movie, I thought he was a silly villain. I was not scared of him. I thought he was a joke. Now, he's like menacing. He is terrifying. He is a good villain. They give more backstory to him, why he wants some other boxes. So good. They actually did him justice this time. Last time it was terrible. He looked dumb. His character was dumb. He was just a villain to fight. Now, it's fitting. It's good. They fixed him. I'm very happy about it. And along with, like, being better, he shows no mercy. He's, like, not holding back. He's killing people, blood's going everywhere, and he's, like, torturing some people. He's awesome. Like, very, very, very happy with how he turned out. But the first time I saw him was in the mascara, and he's going there to get the mother box. It's the first mother box he gets. And during the fight, you can see the Queen honoring like all the dead and fallen soldiers. Like as the building falls into the cliff, she sits there and like mourns, but then she realizes it's time to go. And they do that a lot. And I think that made me really happy because it like showed like they cared about their people. And Wonder Woman is one of the only two superheroes coming into this movie that had a backstory. And the Mascarans are heavily included, so they're characters that I kind of care about. And we've seen Wonder Woman 84 before this movie, so you care about them even more at this point. So seeing them die was actually kind of sad this time. Because you care about them more. Compared to the rest of the people, you didn't really care about them coming in because you didn't know anything about them. They get introduced in this movie. This movie does a lot better job of making you care about them. But, like, the Hemiskarians you really actually cared about when they passed because you've seen them before. You kind of know them. Also, one thing that was cool in that part was when he, like, had the rope with the horse or the harness or whatever, and he, like, threw the horse. That was kind of cool. Then we see the arrow scene. It's kind of in the old one, but it, like, lights the fire. It tells Diana that invasion's here. It's cool. I like the temple with the big apocalypse, because, like, I feel like with what happened, there should be something about it somewhere, and there wasn't in the last one, and now it's like, yeah, here's what's gonna happen. I really like that. But the flashback scene, though? Oh my gosh. That was amazing. That's probably my favorite scene. Watching all the tribes of Man, Atlantis, the Amazon warriors, the gods, the one like Green Lantern. That was so good. Thank you, Zack Snyder, for taking Steppenwolf out of that and giving us Darkseid. That was great. And while we're talking about it, let's just talk about how he looked. Then he didn't have armor. Later we see him with armor. Let me know how you think he looked in the comments down below. I'm very interested. I thought he looked cool. And I trashed all over his CGI in a previous video. That video got a lot of dislikes because it's when I wasn't giving this movie a chance. But here we are. That's happened. Go dislike it. I know. I'm a bad person. But his CGI is a lot better on this movie. Like, actually watching the movie, the CGI is a ton better. I complained about it. Some of the CGI is bad. They worked on it till the day of release, so hats off to them for what they were able to accomplish on some of it. But some of it was really good, and some of it was just mediocre at best. Some of it was not even mediocre. So it's whatever, but I'm just happy with the overall product. Now's when I kind of get out of order because I kind of stopped taking notes because I was so intrigued with the movie that I just forgot. I took them after. So we're not really in order now, but we're just going to go with it. Martian Manhunter, that was cool. I felt like he was kind of forced. He didn't really have a purpose besides just showing up. I mean, it's whatever. I like that he was there, but he didn't add anything to the movie at all. Then overall, for the Cyborg character, they did him a lot better. I don't think it's really what I was wanting, but it's so much better than the other Justice League that I'm perfectly happy with what we got. I kind of am used to, like, Teen Titans Cyborg, you know, joking, humorous, but still serious. So I'm hoping he has a character arc that makes him more funny, but I also understand why he would be how he is. Like, it makes sense. The Flash, I mean, I don't have a lot to say. He was great. A lot of his stuff was the same, but there was some new stuff like the Iris West scene. It's pretty good. Then I think they messed up a few things with Aquaman's character. They added the singing people, which means that they really, really like worship and stuff. So I thought that was cool. But then they also ruined the scene where he's like walking on the pier out into the waves and they're crashing in because they changed it, like the music. And the other one, that's the one thing I think Joss Whedon actually did better. The music for that scene. That was like one of my favorite scenes, and now it's not even there. It's this slow song. And I get the song has a message, but I don't really care. I like the original. And another character I think they ruined was Batman. Because I feel like Batman could hold his own better in the other one. And I mean, he's been Batman for a long time, so you'd think that he can deal with a parademon. But he was struggling unless he had a gun. So this isn't really Batman to me. This is just, I don't know. You remember in The Dark Knight, the dude with the hockey pads? He seems more like one of them than a Batman. And I also don't like that they took out his, like, somewhat of a romance with Wonder Woman, because I actually did like that dynamic that they had. And I was kind of hoping they went more into it on this one, and I don't really think it was even present in this one, even though Snyder's the one that put it in Batman vs. Superman and introduced it to him. I don't know. I wish they would have explored it more and not taken it out. But then one more complaint I have about Aquaman, my other videos where we crapped all over this movie before seeing it, was one of the things we really liked was how he says, "My man." And he says it different, and it's not as fun. And it broke my heart just a little. And then the finale of this movie actually was enjoyable, where Flash was going so fast that he went back in time kind of and undid the Unity. I enjoyed it. That was fun to watch. And I think it's a really good idea. The Speed Force was included in this movie. They actually talked about it. That made me happy. And they talked about it in the old one, but this one they actually explored it, and I thought it works. It worked. that made me happy. I watched the Flash show through season 4, I think. I don't think I got much further than that. I really enjoyed that show. I've been a big Flash character since then, but the show I don't really watch anymore because I think they ruined it. But it made me a big fan of the Flash. So seeing him with a bigger role in this did make me happy. And I wasn't really excited for Ezra Miller's Flash movie, but now I'm stoked. But now I'm going to talk about a few more bads that I had, but then I have like what really made this movie for me. I think the music was not the best. Like the instrumentals and stuff, the background music, it fit in some parts, but in other parts I was just like, nah, change it. That kind of bothered me. Maybe they didn't have enough money to get a big enough score for the whole thing, so they reused some things in certain parts. Maybe that's what happened. But like, some of it really worked, and it made the emotions work very well. But in other parts, no. It just, I wasn't vibing. I don't think it was good. Another big complaint I had with this movie was, I get that like Zack Snyder likes to make like visual masterpieces. He likes to make everything look good. And he was doing that through slow-mo, but there was way too much slow-mo in this movie. Way too much. It was ridiculous. I'd like, let us see the action play out in real time. This was ridiculous. Some of it was good, but then other parts is just annoying. Maybe that's some people's thing, but me personally, I didn't like it. But the biggest complaint I've had about this movie is Darkseid is supposed to be a scary villain. His Omega beams when we saw him were great. And like the flashback scene with Cyborg where we saw him was great. Where he's like working with Superman or something. That's what we're getting to. I think it's like the second or third movie. That was awesome. But in the original flashback, we saw Ares almost kill Darkseid. But Wonder Woman's killed Ares. So, does anyone else get what I'm getting at here? What's going on? Like, can Wonder Woman beat Darkseid because of that? I don't really understand it. And I don't know. It's not a plot hole. I think it's just more of a gripe than anything. So I think that they need a way of showing that Darkseid's more powerful now. Because if not, I think Wonder Woman should be able to steamroll him. Because now she knows how to use her powers. In that first movie, she was still learning them some. So I think she should really just be able to steamroll him at this point, right? Let me know down in the comments below if you think I'm right or wrong on that. And like, tell me why. I don't just want to be told I'm dumb or something. Like, I'm actually really curious. But now the 3 things that I noticed in this movie. First, the nightmare scenes actually make me want to see more. It reminds me of the Injustice games, kind of, in that plot. So I'm really, like, hoping we get more. AT&T/HBO Max. Just go ahead and make them. I'll give you money. Just do it. Also, me and Daniel talked a little bit after the movie, before I made this video, just to, like, get our thoughts on it. But I think he didn't like this as a movie. He said it was way too long and stuff. I saw this more as a mini-series. It had the chapters like 1 through 6. It had the screens come up. So I think HBO shouldn't have even put this together as a movie. I think there should be the option to watch it straight through. But I think it should be like chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like episodes. Because I think if they did this for all of Zack Snyder's things, like the Justice League and stuff, instead of like how they did Batman vs. Superman in theaters, I think he could make things how he wanted to, and people would actually enjoy them a lot more than they have. I think that could be how they fix the DCEU. The standalone movies they could have in theaters as movies. But Zack Snyder's creations, they aren't fit for a movie. They are too long. He likes to put so much in them that it's too much for a theater. But at home, in a miniseries / straight binge, alright. I think it actually works, because you can actually make it 4 or 6 hours, however long you feel like it, and it can be good. So that's really what I think they need to do. Like, that's how they could fix the DCEU. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want more Zack Snyder Justice League stuff. The other parts, just give them. I want them. Please. Now. Right now. Have them come out tomorrow. Before you get smart in the comments, I know they haven't recorded or done anything. But then my biggest complaint about the last Justice League movie was it did not feel like a team movie. It was a Superman movie. It was about getting Superman back and then him coming to triumph. That's how I saw that movie, and that's why I absolutely hated it. It's not because I don't like Superman, but it's because it was a Justice League, but I think it was a Superman movie. That's how I see it, because you know why. He steamrolls Steppenwolf, and he does it again. But I think in this movie, if they worked as a team, they could have beat him without Superman. I think the 5 of them working together could have beat him, because we never saw that. When they were working together, it was when they had all the big attacks, and they actually, like, stood a chance. So I think if they would have worked together instead of keep separating and stuff, we could have actually seen the 5 heroes beat Steppenwolf. And maybe that's just me, but I really think Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash, and Batman could have beat them on their own without the Superman. Because they were doing good. They were fighting well, except for Batman, but we're not even going to talk about that. But I think together, if they would have worked together and communicated well, I think this movie could have ended with them winning, if that's what they wanted. But Superman shows up at the end, and he dominates, still. But I don't think it takes away this time, because I think the other heroes had it under control as well. But since they were split up, that's why they were not doing good. Then Superman came, he helped them, and that's how they win. Hats off. It was good. Zack Snyder fixed my one problem. I didn't think the original was a team movie. Now I think they are a team movie. They still have to get to know each other better so they can work well together to actually become like a rock-solid team. But this was a lot more of a team movie than Joss Whedon's Nightmare. But overall, that's basically all my thoughts about this movie for right now, before I maybe watch it again or sit there and think on it, my deep thoughts. This is just my first reaction. I just finished, I came into our set, I turned the camera on, here we are. I think I gave the other one like a 4 or 3 out of 10, I don't really remember. I think I'm give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I think it fixed a lot of the issues, it added a lot of stuff that made the movie work. This is what we wanted. This is what I think the DCEU should have stuck with. I don't know why they would have changed it. So maybe it wasn't even Zack Snyder's fault for Batman vs. Superman, it was the studio's fault. So me and Daniel gave him I know I gave him a bad rap for that. I didn't have a lot of faith in this movie because of that. But maybe the Snyder fans were right and it was the studio. I thought they were just being kind of too hopeful, but they literally wielded this movie into existence. If you're one of the people that wielded this movie into existence, thank you. I'm so sorry I ever doubted Zack Snyder. But now I just want more, so please don't not make them. Don't go away from this. This is the Justice League you need to have as canon. Your timeline's already messy, so just throw it in. I don't care. Make it messier. And I mean, the DC's also always been big on like multiverse, so maybe they could make it work, do a multiverse thing, and give us this, and then the Justice League the studio wants. I don't really care how they do it. But this was nice. But I think that's all I have to say about this movie. So down in the comments, let me know what you think. Do you agree with me that this movie is 100 times better than the last one and actually a good movie? Or do you think I'm wrong? Do you think the Snyder Cut sucks, it's too long, and it is boring to you? Let me know. And while you're down there, hit the like button on this video. This Zack Snyder has made me a fan of him, and a lot of you didn't like that I wasn't. So if you like this to show appreciation that I've been turned around, that'd be great. But while you're down there, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell, because that'll tell you every time we post new content. We're probably going to make a good bit of Snyder Cut videos, praising it, nitpicking the little things we didn't like, just because that's what we do here. But we're also going to do it with everything else, so why not hit that subscribe button and see our other content. But that's going to do it for us today. I'm Andrew with Everyday Nerds, and until next time, peace out.